With the doors open officially on the spring edition of the transfer portal, probably the biggest fish in the transfer portal at the moment, Nico Iamaleave, whom declared he was transferring from the Tennessee Volunteers not long after head coach Josh Heupel announced before the spring game that they would be moving forward without the quarterback. At first, it seemed as though Iamaleave had a very small list of teams interested. But alas, it seems like there was a return to the beginning. And alas, he had a suitor. Want to find out who that suitor is? Stay tuned to find out on Gridiron Gab Triple Option. Welcome back, you gabbers. Thank you all for joining us on actually the new season of Gridiron Gab Triple Option. And yes, of course, I am the one and only Mr. CeeLo, and I know you guys have missed me. Got to give a big gab out to my man Brad, whom I know is going to be shocked that he's seeing me because it has been a good while since I've been with you guys. I have been working on my other channels and whatnot. It's been 2 months, actually. A shade over 2 months since the national championship game when my Irish fell to the Ohio State Buckeyes. Once again, congratulations to my buddy Nate, whom will be celebrating a birthday this week. Happy birthday, buddy. Big gab out to you. I want to give a huge gab out to my baby brother, who's also my mentor and one of the most significant people in my world. Happy birthday, buddy. I appreciate you. Also got to give a huge gab out to my wife. Yes, in case you didn't know, Mr. CeeLo got married. But want to give a huge gab out to my wife. Love you so much. And also want to give a big gab out to my brother. Happy birthday, buddy. Now, I am glad to be back, and I'm going to try to catch up. Once the NFL's draft is over with, you guys, I can kind of resume normal operation. As you may well know, a lot of the spring games are over. I was particularly interested in the Notre Dame spring game, as many of you know. But I will give you guys an update on that, as many of the other teams have been talking about theirs and so on and so forth. Not everybody does a spring game because of course, injury purposes. But I will be checking you out. If any of you guys are watching, if there's a particular team, I already know Nate wants Ohio State if I can find anything. And I know Brad wants Georgia if I can find anything. So any of you guys have any particulars, please drop a line. Let me know. But let's get into probably the biggest news that's happened so far on the transfer portal point. Whereas Nico Iamaleave came out, well, Coach Heupel came out and said that they will be moving forward without him when there was apparently a NIL dispute over what Nico was getting. Now, I'm going to say this, and this is really going to sound hurtful in a sense. I'm not a big Nico fan in that I think Nico Iamaleave is a good player, but there were times last year where this guy did not pull his end of the deal. And I know a lot of people are going to say, Mr. CeeLo, what do you mean? Well, this is exactly what I mean. And I don't think I'm alone with this way of thinking. Nico really gave a lot of people in Knoxville a lot of hope after the thrashing of Chattanooga. And this is no disrespect to Chattanooga, but let's call a spade a spade. Nico beat up on a football team that really wasn't that good. I mean, you're supposed to go out there and demolish a football team such as. And, when you look at a guy like Nico, whom when set against some really good football teams, it really did not look all that good. And, I mean, you look at the game against Georgia. You look at the games against Georgia, you look at the game against Ohio State. Now, granted, that game was in cold behind Columbus. I get it. That's a tough one to pull off. But, the road games are huge, and I get it. He's a freshman. But you look at the thrashing that they put on Kent State and the beatdown they gave North Carolina State and the close one that they played against Florida. Now, the impressive one was the victory over Alabama, despite the fact this game was in Knoxville. Impressive were the Volunteers when they played at home. But what really gets you is when you watch the 69-3 thrashing and you look at the numbers that Iamaleava was able to put up in this game. What's the real tragedy here is the Volunteers embraced this guy. Now, I'm not a huge fan of schools breaking their NIL promises. I'm not a huge fan. But now here, when you look at what Nico was able to get as a true freshman, and then I must direct y'all's attention to Nico's numbers when it comes to the season in totality, because the truth of the matter is, in order for you to consider yourself what I like to call amongst the elites, I get it. He was a freshman. Now, here's the truth in that. He's a redshirt freshman, though. And it goes back to what one of the I don't remember who the college analyst was, but he made a very good statement. It was a very good point. And the point was, if he was really that good, he would finish out the season next year and he would be able to go to the NFL. While there is a lot of truth to that, you're not guaranteed to be. I mean, he could end up being the guy out when it comes to the NFL draft. I mean, we saw the same thing with DJ Uiagalelei when he decided to transfer. And needless to say, this was a situation where this is a guy that, in my opinion, he has all the potential in the world. At the perfect size at 6'6", 220, has the, I would say what you would call the correct amount of mobility, or the allotted amount of mobility that you're looking for. But then when you look at it, him finishing 10-3, going 19 TDs and 5 scores. But then when you look at the crux of it, a lot of these touchdown passes were against inferior opponents. I would like to think about where you look at the season opener against Chattanooga. He threw for 314 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like I said, he finished with 19 scores and 5 interceptions. The issue that I have with this, I get it. He's a redshirt freshman. And all intents and purposes are pointing to this guy. Now, this is what I'm hearing from, I think Colin Cowherd was one of the reporters that broke this story. And it's looking more and more like he is going to take UCLA. UCLA is expected to take him, considering after they snubbed UCLA. That's the interesting part about this story. It looked like he was going to go to UCLA 2 years ago. And here we are, ironically, back here. And honestly, you can't say anything. UCLA had to kind of take this. Now, I'm not saying Iamaleava is going to be the savior out there, but I will say this. Pasadena's days are going to look a lot better. I think their recruiting gets a little bit better. And it's not going to be because of Nico's NIL deal is going to be cheap. But it's going to be along the lines of is that this is one of the first quarterbacks they've had in a long time that is going to spark a little something. Now, I'm going to say this about Nico. I don't know whose idea it was for him to transfer or demand what he was demanding out of the Volunteers. But in the day of social media, There's no reason why Nico couldn't just hire somebody to follow him around. Nico had the college football world for at least, I guess you could say, the first 2 weeks. Brad, am I wrong? My buddy Robbie is a Tennessee fan. Everybody was trying to figure out how to say this man's name. Now we know how to say his name, and it's an infamous name. Infamous Iamaleava. That's what it's going to be known as. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to throw shade at Nico, because I think he's, from what I've seen, he's a good kid, but it sounds like he's a horrible businessman, and from what I'm hearing, the family's not fun to deal with. So I hope I'm wrong, but I'm looking at it from the standpoint, look, bro, you have not proven yourself against the top-notch contenders yet. You've not had one of those it games. At least Jackson Dart showed out against Georgia. Granted, it was in his building. You had a pretty pedestrian game against the Crimson Tide, to say the least. I mean, listen, anybody get in the comments and let me know if you think differently. I didn't see Nico pull that much out of his hat against Alabama. I'm sorry, I did not. I mean, I'm just keeping it real, what I saw. And what I look at more than anything else when I look at quarterbacks, I don't necessarily look at how many yards that the quarterback threw for. I look at how he was able to dictate the game. And I'm going to be honest with you, it looks like Heupel, he really tried not to put the ball in Nico's hands as much. I mean, you look at Jalen Milroe, and you saw, in my opinion, Milroe had more command. You saw Alabama put the ball in Milroe's hands more than they did Nico's. I get it. Nico's a redshirt freshman. Milroe's more of a sophomore, junior type. But the reality of it is, bro, here's the thing. You can't walk in there demanding something that you haven't earned yet.
Bruh.
And I don't remember who it was that was saying it, but I totally agreed with him. Nico is totally out of line. And the sad part about it is both Tennessee and Nico are going to hurt for this, because the truth of the matter is this Tennessee team really was expecting him to come back. And I mean, now you're at the point where you're basically saying in a nutshell, okay, we're going to move forward without you. Now I'm going to say it like this. Heupel's system is very simple. I'm going to throw it down the field, or I'm going to throw it short. And see, now you're in a situation where you've got 3 freshmen on the roster. And now all of a sudden, you really got nothing. I mean, you've got between Navy Schuler and Gaston Moore, 2 seniors. Now what do you got? Now what you got? And the truth be told, Heupel is not going to be concerned. I guarantee he's not going to be concerned. Because really what this offense is predicated on is spreading it out. It's really a quarterback-friendly offense, at least until you play a defense like Georgia and Alabama that they force you to do something over 15 yards. That's where their strength is. They force the quarterbacks to beat you down the field. Now, if you want to really weigh the options and look at what they have, I'm not going to say they got much, but one thing Heupel didn't do was he did not budge on this. And that's one thing a lot of coaches are saying, oh, yeah, great job. When you got guys that are burners like Dante Thornton, who is going to the NFL this year, and needless to say, they're not going to have a lot of guys like this. They've got some quick guys out there, but the size that he had, you got Chris Brazel II, the sophomore out of Midland, Texas, and Jack Henry Jacobic. So you got some guys out there. The question is, are any of these quarterbacks on this roster going to equate to it? Whereas Nico is now, from what we're hearing from the individuals of Colin Cowherd and company, are saying that he's from Bleacher Report to USA Today. They expect Nico Iamaleava to transfer to UCLA. Also, Athlon Sports is announcing the shake-up of the transfer portal with Nico Iamaleavi's official transfer to UCLA. But this ain't official, but it's expected. But as I said, guys, let me know what you guys think about Nico Iamaleavi out at UCLA. What do you think his chances are as making a difference? I think he can make a difference. I think UCLA is a quarterback and a couple of defensive players. Well, excuse me. I think UCLA is a Nico Iamaleavi and a couple of receivers away from being a conference contender. I say conference, not national championship. And when I say contender, you can be in the running to play out those last 2 weeks for the championship. And needless to say, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think Nico's going to be ready for the system. I think this is what makes it so difficult of a decision for me to understand his decision. You've only had one real year, and this is where I'm fully against guys transferring when they have one full season in a system. Is you have to get to learn the system, and once you learn it, you need to be patient. And Nico was all about that green, which I understand, but at the same time, I don't understand. I hope this is not a mistake that he regrets, because honestly, Tennessee embraced this guy. We don't know how UCLA is gonna take him. They could give him the same treatment that Tennessee gives him, or they could give him the blah. We'll see. But let me know what you think. Brad, Nate, let me know what you guys think. And Robbie, if you out there, let me know what you think about Nico transferring. I know this had to hurt you a little bit, brother. But Nico, not official yet, but rumor is he's going to be a UCLA Bruin. Guys, y'all hit me up in the comments. Let me know what's going on. Don't forget, go to the Facebook group and the Facebook page at Gridiron Gab Triple Option. Let me know what's going on. Drop me a link. Also, go to my Instagram at Mr. CeeLo and drop me a line so you can catch up with all of the shenanigans I will be caught up with, including the NFL Draft, spring games, and the NBA playoffs, which have already begun with the play-in tournaments. But until the next time, same Gab channel, same Gab platform.